Australia is one of the world's most exciting and diverse travel destinations, boasting stunning natural landscapes, unique wildlife, and vibrant urban centers. Whether you're exploring the vast outback, diving in the Great Barrier Reef, or enjoying the lively culture of cities like Sydney and Melbourne, Australia has something for everyone. However, as with any trip to a foreign country, there are important considerations to keep in mind before setting out on your Australian adventure. In this video, we will explore a range of tips to know before traveling to Australia, including essential travel logistics, cultural norms, and practical advice for making the most of your experience in this incredible country. Visa requirements and entry regulations. Before traveling to Australia, it's important to ensure that you have the appropriate visa. Australia has strict entry requirements, and all visitors, except those from New Zealand, require a visa to enter the country. Most tourists will need either an Electronic Travel Authority, or ETA, or an e-visitor visa, depending on their nationality. The ETA allows short stays for tourism or business purposes and can be easily applied for online. The e-visitor visa serves a similar purpose but is available to passport holders of certain European countries. Make sure to apply for your visa well in advance, as processing times can vary. Be mindful of visa expiration dates and the specific terms of your visa, such as restrictions on working while in the country. Additionally, when entering Australia, you'll need to complete an incoming passenger card, which declares any goods you're bringing into the country and asks about customs and biosecurity matters. Biosecurity and quarantine rules. Australia is known for having some of the world's strictest biosecurity regulations, and with good reason. Its isolated ecosystem is vulnerable to foreign pests and diseases. When entering the country, you'll be required to declare any food, plant material, animal products, and outdoor equipment. Items like fresh produce, seeds, meats, and even soil-contaminated shoes can be restricted or confiscated. To avoid delays or fines, carefully read the customs declaration form and declare all items honestly. Quarantine officers may inspect your luggage, and penalties for breaching these regulations are severe. For travelers who've recently been in rural or agricultural areas, it's also recommended to clean any outdoor gear before arriving in Australia to prevent the introduction of foreign soil or seeds. Weather and climate considerations. Australia is a vast country with diverse climates, and the weather can vary significantly depending on where and when you travel. Australia's seasons are opposite to those in the Northern Hemisphere. Summer runs from December to February, autumn from March to May, winter from June to August, and spring from September to November. If you're visiting cities in the south like Sydney, Melbourne, or Adelaide, expect warm summers and mild winters. However, the northern part of the country, including areas like Cairns and Darwin, experiences a tropical climate with a wet season from November to April and a dry season from May to October. During the wet season, heavy rains and tropical cyclones can disrupt travel plans, so it's best to schedule trips to the northern regions during the dry months. Packing appropriately for the climate and season is crucial. If you're visiting during the Australian summer, be prepared for high temperatures and strong sun. Pack lightweight clothing, sunscreen, sunglasses, and a hat. In the winter, cities like Melbourne can be chilly, so bring warmer clothing if you plan to visit during that time. Australia is known for its beautiful beaches and outdoor activities, but it's also home to some of the most intense UV radiation in the world. The country has one of the highest rates of skin cancer globally, so sun protection is essential when spending time outdoors. To protect yourself from the sun, apply broad-spectrum sunscreen with a high SPF regularly, even on cloudy days. Wear a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, and sun-protective clothing when spending extended periods outside. If you're planning to visit the beach or go hiking, try to avoid being outdoors during the peak sun hours, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., when the sun's rays are strongest. In addition to sun safety, travelers should also be mindful of other health precautions. Australia is generally a safe country in terms of health, with high-quality medical facilities and clean water. However, it's recommended that travelers ensure their vaccinations are up to date before arriving, particularly for diseases such as tetanus, diphtheria, and hepatitis A. Australia is famous for its unique and diverse wildlife, from cuddly koalas and kangaroos to more dangerous creatures like snakes, spiders, and marine animals. While encountering dangerous wildlife is rare, It's important to be aware of potential risks, especially if you're spending time in rural or coastal areas. When hiking in the Australian bush, wear appropriate footwear, stay on designated paths, and be cautious of snakes, especially during the warmer months when they are more active. If you're swimming in the ocean, pay attention to local warnings about jellyfish, especially the box jellyfish, which can be found in northern Australian waters during the wet season, and can deliver a painful and potentially deadly sting. Always swim at patrolled beaches between the flags, where lifeguards can offer safety advice. For those visiting tropical areas, be aware of crocodile habitats in rivers and estuaries. Always heed local warnings and never swim in areas where crocodiles are known to live. If you're unsure about local wildlife risks, ask locals or consult information from visitor centers. Renting a car is a popular way to explore Australia, offering the flexibility to travel at your own pace and venture into more remote areas. However, there are a few important things to know about driving in Australia. First, Australians drive on the left-hand side of the road, which may be challenging for visitors from countries that drive on the right. Make sure to familiarize yourself with the road rules and be cautious when driving, especially when navigating roundabouts or making turns. Australia is also a huge country, so if you're planning long road trips, be prepared for extended driving times between destinations. In rural areas, services like gas stations can be few and far between, so it's important to carry plenty of water, food, and a fully charged phone in case of emergencies. Be mindful of wildlife, particularly at dawn and dusk, when animals like kangaroos are most active and can pose a hazard on the roads. For those driving in the outback or remote areas, make sure your vehicle is in good condition and equipped with a spare tire, and consider notifying someone of your travel plans, as some areas have limited cell phone reception. Tipping and dining etiquette in Australia can be a bit different from what you might be used to. Australia does not have a strong tipping culture, so tipping is generally not expected in most situations. However, in restaurants, cafes, and bars, it's common to leave a tip of around 10% if you've received excellent service. In casual settings like coffee shops or takeaway restaurants, tipping is entirely optional. Service staff in Australia are paid a decent wage compared to some other countries, so tipping is more of a bonus than an obligation. Dining out in Australia can be a fantastic experience, with the country offering a wide range of international cuisines, as well as an emphasis on fresh, locally sourced ingredients. Many restaurants offer BYO or bring your own alcohol, allowing you to bring your own wine or beer to enjoy with your meal for a small corkage fee. Another common feature of Australian dining is shared plates. Many restaurants, especially those serving Asian or Mediterranean cuisine, offer shared dishes that are placed in the center of the table for everyone to enjoy. Australia uses the Australian dollar or AUD as its currency, and it's easy to exchange money at airports, banks, or currency exchange offices. Credit and debit cards are widely accepted throughout the country, and contactless payment methods like Apple Pay and Google Pay are commonly used. Australia has an extensive network of ATMs, so withdrawing cash is easy if you need it. However, many places operate as cashless venues, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, so it's a good idea to have a card on hand for most transactions. Be aware that some smaller shops, especially in rural areas, may have minimum spending limits for card payments. When using foreign cards in Australia, check with your bank regarding any international transaction fees that may apply. It's also advisable to notify your bank of your travel plans to avoid any issues with your card being blocked while abroad. Australia has an extensive public transportation network, particularly in cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth. Buses, trains, and trams are efficient and affordable ways to navigate urban areas. Visitors should purchase a travel card such as Opal in Sydney, Mikey in Melbourne, or GoCard in Brisbane for easy access to public transportation. For longer distances, Australia's size often means flying is the most practical option for domestic travel. The country has several budget airlines, such as Jetstar and Virgin Australia, which offer affordable flights between major cities. For travelers with more time, cross-country train journeys like the Ghan and the Indian Pacific offer a scenic and leisurely way to explore the country's vast landscapes. Australia is home to one of the world's oldest continuous cultures, with Indigenous Australians having lived on the continent for over 60,000 years. When traveling to Australia, it's important to respect the traditions, customs, and cultural heritage of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. If you're visiting sacred indigenous sites such as Uluru, follow all rules and guidelines, including respecting requests not to climb certain areas or take photographs in designated places. Many places in Australia offer tours or educational experiences led by indigenous guides, allowing travelers to learn more about their history, spirituality, and connection to the land. Understanding and acknowledging the significance of indigenous culture is an essential aspect of appreciating Australia's diverse heritage. Traveling to Australia is an exciting and enriching experience, but proper preparation can make all the difference in ensuring a smooth and enjoyable trip. By understanding visa requirements, biosecurity regulations, and the diverse climate, as well as practicing sun safety and driving precautions, travelers can be well equipped to explore this unique destination. Respecting local customs, wildlife, and indigenous culture is also key to having a meaningful and respectful experience in Australia. Whether you're exploring the outback, enjoying a city adventure, or relaxing on pristine beaches, these tips will help you make the most of your Australian journey. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.